creepy and cool TikToks that will blow your mind. Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's go!
Disclaimer: this video is for entertainment purposes only. Please do your own research, as these clips haven't been fact-checked.
This is insane. AI robot and AI video. It's not real. Soon though, soon it'll be real.
Why did the King of Thailand choose an idiot as his successor? The current King of Thailand has 5 sons, yet the one he chose as his successor is the somewhat dull Prince Dipankorn. For years, there have been speculations that Dipankorn has intellectual disabilities. Not only does he often appear dazed and slow to react, but he once unexpectedly hugged his sister during a formal event, which led to ridicule. What's puzzling is that no matter how absurd Dipankorn acts, his position as heir remains unshaken. Even when the sharp and capable second prince returns to Thailand, he can't shake Dipankorn's position. Why does the king love Dipankorn so much? In fact, Dipankorn is one of the few children raised personally by the king. Dipankorn's mother, Shirasmi, was once highly favored, so the king placed great importance on both mother and son. However, Shirasmi was later embroiled in a corruption scandal and deposed, yet the king only punished his wife and didn't affect Dipankorn. In fact, the king became even more compassionate toward Dipankorn for being without a mother, thus treating him even better. Moreover, while Dipankorn may not appear to be the brightest, he hasn't made any major mistakes and has always remained low-key. Especially recently, when attending events, he has presented himself as composed and calm, unexpectedly giving off a reliable impression. Furthermore, for the highly scrutinized Thai monarchy, having a mediocre monarch might actually be a good thing. Therefore, whether for personal or political reasons, it was a wise move for the king to choose Dipankorn as his heir.
All right, Thailand prince, Japanese prince, Indonesian 5 president. If you know, you know.
Kicking off. Streets of London. About 40 people, eh?
If this is real, shame on the government. Ooh.
This
Lucifer was handsome. What happened?
man says that he can sleep while swimming, and he's actually had to learn how because he is currently attempting to break the world record for the longest continuous swim. That will take him a staggering 5 days and 5 nights non-stop. Noam Yaron from Switzerland has to cross the Mediterranean Sea from Corsica Island to Monaco without leaving the water for even a minute, and he's currently about 2 days in at the time we're recording. It's a huge distance of 112 miles, and since he's not allowed to take a nap or rest on the boat, he said that he's had to teach himself to sleep while swimming using hypnosis. And how this works feels illegal. Noam said that he can close his eyes and shut off one part of his brain, while the other half keeps him swimming like a dolphin. And obviously you think, well, he's asleep, so how does he stay on course? Well, apparently that's what this swimming line is for, and it also lights up at night. This is so he can see it with his eyes closed. If it feels too bright, he knows he's getting too close, and if it starts to feel too dim, well, he knows that he's going off course. Bro, we literally got human dolphins before GT. As he gets to his last day, I'll keep you guys updated.
Yeah, what about eating or drinking water?
It's Nottingham. Look, there's this big wall. It's some kind of conspiracy like this. They're experimenting on these things. The other side, right in the middle of the city, they're sort of containing them in this area. Like, we need to share. We need to let everybody know this is happening right now. Like, the only thing between us and them is this huge wall. Just want to let everybody know that this is happening in the UK right now. There are like zombies or infected people, and they're holding them behind these doors in the UK.
As long as it's not the zombies that run 75 miles per hour, we're all good.
Is the most mysterious angel Enoch ever saw. When Enoch was taken into heaven, he saw the great angels surrounding the throne of God. Michael, the warrior, Gabriel, the messenger, Raphael, the healer. But there was one angel who looked like no other. His name was Phanuel. In Enoch chapter 40, it says, Phanuel strengthens the righteous. and drives sinners away from the presence of the Lord of Spirits. Phanuel doesn't fight with a sword. He fights with truth. He is the guardian of God's face, and nothing can be hidden from him. He doesn't look at what's outside. He sees the soul, and if the soul is not clean, he removes it forever from God's presence. Some call him the angel of repentance. Others call him the living barrier between the Creator and sin. Few know his name. Even fewer understand his mission. But when the day of judgment comes, everyone will stand before Phanuel, and only those who are clean will be able to see God.
You know, the book of Enoch and others mentioned are not included in the Bible. God has a reason for that, I believe.
7 decades since the Dead Sea Scrolls were discovered, around 80 new fragments of the ancient texts have been revealed to the public.
They said some scrolls were lost to time, but what if AI just found what wasn't meant to be read? In 2021, archaeologists risked everything to reach a cave sealed for 60 years.
Amir from the cave, you hear me?
I hear you.
Sealed
Come
for
quickly,
60
we
years?
discovered amazing things.
Really? What'd you find?
What they uncovered wasn't just scripture. It was a story buried on purpose, written in Greek, marked in Hebrew, hidden for a reason. Then the machines stepped in. They filled the blanks, decoded the silence. What they revealed? You're not ready. AI just cracked the Dead Sea Scrolls, and it's worse than we thought.
15 columns of text in ancient Greek seen for the first time in almost 2,000 years.
Silence has been replaced by something louder. And for those holding on to old certainties, are about to get uncomfortable.
Zechariah writes of what is to come, from the rebuilding of the temple and Jerusalem to a coming messianic king.
The descent into the cave of horror. When archaeologists dropped into a Judean cave in 2021, they weren't just searching for bones or pottery. They were after something deeper, something that had been buried under dust and time for over 60 years. What they uncovered was only the beginning. The real shock would come later, when artificial intelligence stepped in to piece things together. We'll get to that, but first, let's look at where it all started. To get into the cave, researchers had to rappel straight down a steep 80-meter drop from the cliff's edge. It wasn't just risky, it was physically demanding. But for Oren Abelman and his team at the Israel Antiquities Authority, the effort was worth it. Hidden deep in those rocks were fragments of ancient texts. And not just any texts. These were pieces of the Dead Sea Scrolls. Small, brittle scraps that had somehow survived centuries of heat, decay, and silence. Abelman admitted that what they found wasn't much in size. These are tiny scraps, he said. But even scraps can say a lot when placed in the right order. The team managed to reassemble some of them like a jigsaw puzzle. Slowly, phrases and meanings began to return to life, offering a rough idea of what once was. The cave where all this happened is known officially as Cave 8th, but most call it something else, the Cave of Horror. That name wasn't chosen at random. It came...
Okay, all I can say is Jesus is real and coming back.
Is the biggest scam in the world. 99% of Americans have been fooled. Many think Thai people grow papayas just for the fruit. Wrong. What they really want is the white sap that oozes from unripe papayas. This white liquid is rarer than gold and diamonds. Just 10 grams can sell for over $1,000. You might be shocked. Why is it so expensive? And what is it used for? When the papaya is still green and firm, farmers use sharp knives to make small cuts on the skin. The milky white sap immediately oozes out. Workers carefully collect it in special little bottles. Though it looks ordinary, this liquid is worth its weight in gold. This sap is called papain. It's highly valuable on the international market. It breaks down proteins and softens dead skin, widely used in luxury skincare products and spot treatments. It's also used to make tenderizing powders and digestive medicines. Even in medical surgeries, it has applications. One papaya tree can be tapped multiple times a year. The fruit itself is sold later, but compared to the flesh, the white sap yields profits dozens of times higher. That's why Thai papaya farms seem to focus on fruit harvests. But in reality, the most valuable part, the papain, is sold worldwide.
Come on, if it's so expensive, most papaya farmers would be wealthy.
I'm looking at myself on the ground and I'm like, oh shit. I always say this, the story never gonna change. It always gets back to the same thing. I always say, God damn, they shot the fuck out of you. They weren't playing with you, yo. Then I get down. I'm like, shit. See if you can get some help. Now my vessel is moving around, but it's listening to my spirit. Now my spirit is controlling my vessel to the point where I'm like, okay, this shit's really working. It's like a puppet or something. I'm like, yo, go in your pocket and get your phone. The vessel goes in his pocket, gets the phone. I always say it like it's a different person because I know like my vessel isn't connected to my spirit, and it's not going to be that way whenever I transition. However, in this realm, in this world, we're connected. The only time you see your spirit, though, is when you're sleeping, you're dreaming, and you think it's a dream. You feel me? And I'll compare it to this in a dream. I don't know how many dreams people have or what kind of dreams people have. However, in certain dreams, I've had a lot of dreams of dying or getting shot. And in these dreams, or in the dreams when you're fighting, you get sweaty, your body builds up in this other realm, your vessel feels it. When you get shot in a dream, it hurts so bad that you wake up. You feel me? You wake up and you pat yourself down like, whew, thank God, that was a dream. Now in the real world, when your vessel really gets shot, your spirit wakes up. So now I'm not dreaming no more. My spirit is really here with me. So now I'm like, yo, get to your phone, get it out. The vessel gets the phone out, looks at me. I'm like, all right, call 911. I'm such a nut in both worlds, spiritually and in the real world. My vessel looks at me and say, call the police. Yes, dickhead, call the police, dummy. 911. We call 911 because I'm still like, I ain't telling. What? You ready to die, nigga? Call them. Boom, call 911. So now I'm whispering in my vessel's ear like, yo, tell him you down Commerce. Tell him you right by the loss. The vessel repeats it. I'm down Commerce. I'm right at the loss. I'm like, all right, tell him you got shot. You need help right now. He's like, all right, I got shot. I need help right now. And I end up coughing up blood like in the movies. It really happens. Like a chunk of blood comes out and hits me in my chest and rolls down to the point I'm like, ew. You feel me? But I can't say nothing because I'm really trying to survive right now. But my spirit like, ew, this shit look nasty. It look like the movies. So now I'm on the phone with dispatch and they're like, we're going to get help to you as soon as possible. We got a squad car that's close by. Me and the vessel look up and we see a squad car driving past, and I'm like, yo, the car just drove past me. Tell them the car just drove past. Vessel repeats it, the car just drove past. Now they stop, skirt, skirt. The doors open, doors close. I can see feet walking to me and I black out.
I believe everything he says, for real.
Taiwan is being smashed with a massive typhoon right now, and they are getting hit hard with strokes of wind up to 191 kilometers per hour. And it's also coming in towards other parts of Asia as well, especially around the southern tip of China. The storm has so far cancelled hundreds of flights, closed countless businesses and schools in 9 cities across China, Hong Kong, and Taiwan, and also thousands have had to evacuate their homes due to heavy rainfall and deadly winds. This has also led to Taiwanese authorities erecting shelters to assist displaced people. I'll keep you guys updated, but let's hope it doesn't swell in size from
God, please protect Taiwanese people.
Virginia, they have this amusement park called King's Dominion, and they got this ride called the Dominator. Maybe if I was a little younger, count me out. Now, if you looking for that motherfucking ride that your stomach can be one with your ass, this is the ride for you. With several loops around this motherfucker, you better have an empty stomach. Now, if you afraid of coming out of your seat, then this ride ain't for you. If you didn't use the bathroom before getting on this motherfucker, I recommend you do. But for me, count me out. Now, if your stomach can make it through all these sharp turns and these loops, then you are a winner. But if not, then somebody behind you might be the chicken dinner. With this roller coaster reaching almost up to 80 miles an hour, it's no joke. All I'm gonna say is say a prayer before you get on this motherfucker. Make sure you ain't got nothing in your pockets. Count me out. Would you get on this motherfucker?
I hear Birdie Mac in there somewhere.
The FDA has now literally approved eye drops that correct the need for glasses in just 30 minutes. This is literally insane. The FDA has now approved a thing called Viz, which is a new once-a-day eye drop that can help people who struggle to see things up close. This is basically a thing that's called farsightedness, which is basically whenever things are really blurry to you whenever they're close up, but usually this comes with old age. They're saying that this is a new once-daily prescription drop that creates a pinhole effect by constricting your pupil, kind of like adjusting a camera lens. They're saying that these drops will help you see close up way more clearly without messing up your distant vision. They're saying that just one of these drops in your eyes can work incredibly fast in just 30 minutes, and it can last in your eye for up to 10 hours at a time. The clinical trials are showing no serious safety issues, and the side effects are usually just mild, like a bit of a headache or maybe a little bit of eye irritation. What's crazier is they're saying that these eye drops are supposed to be launching in the US soon with a full nationwide rollout by the end of this year. I give you these news roundups every day, so make sure you add me and come back to me tomorrow.
Okay, I'm gonna wait for the second batch.
A close friend of mine reached out to me last night and he sent me these images and he asked me, Dewey, can you tell me what do all of these people have in common, because I do not know. And he really seriously meant that he doesn't know because he's not involved in any type of thing like this. He doesn't look for information, he's not privy to searching things, he just believes what he's told. So he came to ask me and he said, what do all of these people have in common? So I gave him the answer. Now I'm not going to tell everybody on here what my answer is, but let me just tell you now, my answer definitely blew this man's mind, because he doesn't believe a word that I said. And I'm not going to tell everybody what my answer is, because I'm going to put this on here and just see how many of you guys on here would have told my friend the exact same answer as what I told them. So guys, you tell me, what do all of these couples have in common?
Okay, John Rivers is dead because she outed Michelle Obama. I mean, Michael. Ooh, look at that. Oh. Why so much trash?
Let's party, let's party, let's party, fam.
Let's party. London is lost.
Can anyone tell me, what do all these artists have in common?
Ooh, that's evil for sure. False god. Oh my goodness. Oh, yep. My goodness. Oh man. Ooh.
I'll see you in the comments.
You know, when Lucifer fell, he took his gift of music and worship with him. Satan absolutely runs Hollywood.
Harlem, there's a zombie couple getting freaky in the streets in broad daylight.
My goodness.
They've been seen many times, even getting busy in front of a
Oh
school.
my goodness.
That's 126th Street below the Metro North, right next to elementary school. The neighborhood is blaming this On Point NYC, where they go and, you know, do their D's. That's what attracts all the zombies in the area on 125th and Lex. Residents are tired calling 311, especially now because they're having zombie freak-offs and pooping between the cars.
Oh my goodness.
Residents are asking for this place to be shut down. It costs us taxpayers that live in Harlem $16 million a year to operate. All for them to do D's, not OD, and come outside and get freaky. I know this block very well, and they sell right in front of the building. They go in the, you know, cops do nothing. There's also a clinic around the corner for free. 16 million of these people, and nothing for the kids.
Yep, this is absolutely unacceptable.
What did Nicki Minaj just say?
Y'all, we have something to tell y'all. We're not the real us.
Come on. Come on, man.
Shut up.
What are you talking about, Nicki Minaj? What do you mean by that? Because this is not the time to play around like that. You know what people are thinking these days. But what about Monica? Huh? I never seen all of them chilling at the same time. Can't forget about Keisha Cole. Where has she been at? But what if they're not really them? She said it. I didn't say nothing. Remember that. She said it herself. Because there's a lot of things going on, guys. And we're going to see more of this. People hanging out that never hung out before. Maybe they did, but I never seen it. And what do you mean we're not the real us? Are you referring to you or everyone? We sounds like everyone in that room. It's funny you say that because people are saying that I'm not the real me either. You know who they say I am. I don't know. Maybe me and them have something in common. This video is for entertainment purposes only. And if you ask me, they're just playing around because they're the real them. I don't know, guys. Let me know what you think. Do you believe them or you don't? What about me? Do you believe me when I say I'm the real true story? I don't know.
I believe you.
I'm out.
Beyonce's team had to take this video down after just 2 hours. Otherwise, it would have destroyed her superstar image. This video was only up for 2 hours, and yet everyone who saw it was left shocked. It was filmed backstage at Beyonce's latest concert, the one where she made that infamous hand gesture on stage, forming a triangle with both hands. In the little footage that's still floating around, she's seen just before going on stage, but that's not all. She's standing still, not moving, surrounded by her daughter and Jay-Z. Then suddenly, she raises her hands and makes the exact same triangle gesture again. But something's off about the way she does it. Her eyes are open, but her gaze is blank. She looks frozen, like she's drawing energy straight from the crowd. And right after that, her daughter does the same sign. And a few minutes later, so does Jay-Z. In a fan video from someone close to the stage, you can actually hear someone from the crew panicking and saying, "Turn off the camera now." And right then, the video cuts out. But it was almost too late. Within those 2 hours, it had already spread all over small TikTok accounts. Then it got wiped from everywhere. Even the account that first posted it, gone. And when you watch what she did next on stage, right after that moment, it gets even worse. So, just a coincidence? Or was she not fully herself in that moment? Let me know. Would you have wanted to see that video before it vanished?
Beyonce has been evil for a long time now.
Things are amazing. They're laser engravers and they're from China. It's a relatively new technology, but you can take a rock, any rock, and basically engrave any design into it. You can take any rock or stone and just place it underneath this engraver and it'll just laser it out. You create the design on the computer, it's very easy, basically all automated. But this got me thinking. This ancient structure was apparently carved using hammer and chisel 1200 years ago. But when some experts look at it, it seems like there's marks of machinery. Almost like a laser has done its work over there. It certainly doesn't look like the jaggedness you would see from hammer and chisel. And it's a really common theory, keeping in mind that this structure was apparently made out of one piece of stone. It was carved straight out of the mountain, exactly as it is, from the top down. But when you see inside of it, when you see through the structure, it just seems so unnatural. It's not like anything else we find. Certainly seems like something that would have been lasered out of the mountain in that perfect square shape that it is. Anyway, as always, what do you guys think?
There's nothing new under the sun. There were way more advanced than us. AI or dark web. Sequel. Oh man. This is crazy.
Red rum, who that? Red rum, this is Stacy. Red rum. Hey. Y'all know I'm poison. Yeah. Hey.
It was the first hours of June 13th, 2024, when a family's world came crashing down in the most horrifying way imaginable. Flames roared through a home in Strawberry Mansion in Philadelphia on the 2500 block of North Corley Streets near Cumberland Street. It caused permanent and painful damage to the life of one particular young lady. This was 32-year-old Ashley Thompson, a mother, a sister, and a daughter. She was a dedicated and beloved woman with so much ahead of her until it was snatched away in the blink of an eye. Panicked 911 calls were sent out by multiple bystanders, eager to help the family, but the arrival of firefighters was a bit too late to save some lives. Many hearts were left broken at the needless death, but the firefighters were still not ready for what they uncovered. Their number one suspect danced happily on social media, while the authorities made the crushing discovery that Ashley Thompson had been pregnant. This case stepped up a notch, and the arson department of the police immediately launched an investigation. With many hearts shattered, they were determined to uncover the true nature of these deaths. Within days, they would soon discover shocking depths of betrayal and violence by their own blood. This is the life and death of Ashley Thompson. This sad story unfolded in the city of Philadelphia in Pennsylvania. Philadelphia is a historic, densely populated city in the United States. It is celebrated for its iconic architecture, deep-rooted neighborhoods, and a richly diverse demographic mix, including growing Asian and immigrant communities. However, by mid-June 2025, the city had recorded 114 homicides. Overall, Philadelphia's crime rate remains high at roughly 54 crimes per 1,000 residents. This is well above national averages. And while violence has cooled slightly, it continues to affect many neighborhoods, leaving many residents uneasy about safety. Born in 1994, Ashley Thompson was known by those close to her as a devoted mother and a caring daughter who always put her family first. Born and raised in the Strawberry Mansion of Philadelphia, she built much of her life within that close-knit community, surrounded by relatives, including her mother and grandmother. She was encouraged to be the best of herself by all those who surrounded her. This love for family fed her with the desire to create one of her own. She not only desired companionship, but also yearned to be a mother of her own children. And soon,
the Bible says, in the last days, mothers will turn on their daughters and sons, and daughters and sons will turn on their mothers. I got destroyed by West Half. Oh my goodness. Oh. Why? AI? Oh, my goodness. Oh, you are so pretty. No, please don't. Oh my goodness.
Why
I prefer all the before photos. What do you think?
would the Vatican sentence a nun to death, but never carry it out? In 1478, Sister Katharina stopped praying, stopped speaking, stopped moving. They said she was overtaken by sloth incarnate, a force that drains the soul but leaves the body breathing. The Vatican built a chair of stone around her, not to contain her, but to stop her from spreading. She still sits in the catacombs, eyes open, unblinking, rotting without dying.
No way.
And every few decades, someone else stops praying. Sloth doesn't kill you, it hollows you out, until something else moves in.
It seems there's so much to learn in this world.
Did Jesus give us pineapple juice for this reason? Watch this.
Oh. What does Jesus has to do with pineapple juice?
Right.
Lost on Irish giving and pro cars. Just bring your girl, feel like she both bars. Some black nigga work at the ocean. Somebody hit that on the ocean.
So why not call 911?
Just remember, if you're gonna lie, then keep the lies small or you're probably gonna get caught. Just ask Brian Williams. Now, for those of you that don't know, Brian Williams was a famous news anchor from back in the day. He was known for two things. One, for being a really good news anchor. And for two, for lying about his plane getting hit by an RPG during the Iraq War. Okay, listen closely. The year was early 2000 something. Brian going crazy in the news game. Everybody loves him. He gets a call from the studio. They say, Brian, come up here. Brian says, it's my big break. Goes up. Studio head says, Brian, you going to Iraq? He said, did I get in trouble? Did I do something wrong? They said, no, we just need a reporter to report things out there. You're that guy. But don't worry, we just gonna get you one of them vests. You're gonna be good. You're gonna be good. So Brian heads out to Iraq with his vest. He start reporting stuff. He hops on a helicopter. While he's flying on that helicopter, the pilot goes, oh my God, it's an RPG. Brian said, where? I know I should have worn a bigger vest. The pilot said, oh, you didn't let me finish. It's an RPG that hit the plane in front of us. Brian said, where? We gotta get that on camera. The pilot said, oh, you didn't let me finish again. An RPG hit the plane in front of us about an hour ago. Brian said, is something wrong with you? Never mind, let me just finish my job. Brian finishes reporting the Iraq War. Brian flies back to the United States. Now, here's where things start to get wicked. Brian reports, when he gets back, he reports, a RPG hit the plane right in front of me. It was crazy. But that story didn't really pick up too much traction, so Brian decides to add a little bit more flair. He says, an RPG hit my plane that I was in. Everybody said, Brian, what? He said, yeah! He's on talk shows repeating this, just straight up lying. Letterman said, so what happened to the plane though? Brian said, let me just show y'all a picture. It's gonna be easier. See that scrape right there? That's where an RPG hit us. You know, it wasn't too crazy. It was scary, but it wasn't too crazy. Everybody said, wow, Brian, you're really brave. Brian said, I know. The soldiers who were actually on the plane said, oh, Brian, you really are brave, huh? Brian said, perhaps I didn't think this one all the way through. The soldiers who are actually on the plane that got hit by the RPG go on Facebook. They say, yeah, Brian lying. But the crazy part is the soldiers only came out like 12 years later. So Brian kept this lie going for the better part of a decade. Then Brian decides to comment on that post saying, y'all right, I was lying. Brian hops on the news because he's an anchor and he makes a special announcement. He says, y'all, remember that story from a while back when I told y'all I was on the plane? My plane got hit by an RPG? I don't want to say I was lying. You see, the thing is, listen closely. He says, I was reporting that story so much that I must have actually thought I was on the plane. Everybody said, get out of here. Brian said, all right, y'all, be easy. Turn the cameras off. Turn the cameras off. Brian goes to the studio network. He said, yo, they say you fired Brian. He said, that makes sense. Now, he technically wasn't fired because he signed a 5-year contract deal with NBC, but he was suspended for 6 months and demoted way down to a breaking news anchor. And his career was never the same after that. Keep your life small.
He was already famous and respected. He should have stuck to the truth.
This is the Serapeum catacombs built between 1550 and 1520 BC, allegedly by King Amenhotep. And this place, this underground place, was carved out by the Egyptians to bury the bull, the Apis bull, the jackal, and the cat that they worshipped. They did sacrifices and stuff like that. There's 24 of these huge granite sarcophaguses, and look at that. Look at that. How did they do this? How did they make that like that? 70 tons. 70 tons. And allegedly in the 1850s, they didn't find any bulls. They didn't find any full mummified bodies in any of these things. And I think it's BS that they're telling us that this is for animals. I think these are Nephilim sarcophagi. Whether this is pre-flood or not, I'm not entirely sure, because we know the Nephilim came back after the flood, according to the Book of Numbers. And obviously there's giant bones and stuff that you can freely search on Google. But look at that. How did they cut that? This is mined 550 miles south in Aswan, Egypt. Look at the carvings. Some of these carvings may have been added later. But look at the sharp bronze tools. I think this is a Nephilim tomb. Because, you know, there's Egyptian hieroglyphic artwork of massive giant people, or at least people bigger than the other people, standing around. And look, how did they carve out the inside of this? Look at those sharp angles like that. And now that we know that the mainstream lies about everything, they didn't find any full mummified bulls down here. They found pieces of things, bones of things. But the tomb raiders probably found these huge people in these coffins, and they used to eat mummified people because they thought that, you know, eating mummified people would, you know, give them health benefits. Did y'all see how smooth this is?
Yep.
Sorry if it's loud in the background. I'm currently in New York. But look how smooth that is. They're not doing this with hammer and chisel. Okay, this is ancient technology, and I believe that this is. Oh yeah, and by the way, when they discovered this, they found this sarcophagus just randomly in the tunnel, and our guy looked us in the face and said that they built the tunnel around the sarcophagi. Like, how did they get them down there? And he was like, oh yeah, they just built it on top. They built the cave system on top of the sarcophagi. Like, and I was looking at him, I'm like, I'm not gonna cause any problem. This is
okay. Let's not forget about all the Egyptian stuff in the Grand Canyon.
It's the Taj Mahal, and according to our fake history, it was built between 1632 and 1648. Built by hand and chisel, elephant and carrot. Made from solid marble stone mined 250 kilometers away. It is estimated that the Taj Mahal was made with 70,000 metric tons of this marble. You know how long it would take to haul 70,000 metric tons of marble with elephant and carriage 250 kilometers? This platform is 300 by 300 feet and perfectly level and flat. No visible slope or anything after 370 years. This absolute masterpiece was also made with other precious stones, such as jade, quartz crystal, amethyst, and turquoise. These precious stones had to come from places such as Iran, China, and possibly even Brazil, which begs the question, how? These people were primitive and they had no connection with the outer world. How are they getting these precious stones? How did primitive cave dwellers design everything in perfect symmetry, perfect mathematical proportion? Find the golden ratio or the Fibonacci sequence layout all throughout the Taj Mahal. Now, many of these stones weigh multiple tons. How did they hoist this up there? How did they carve this perfectly? Now, modern architects would need some sort of diamond drill or precise laser to make symmetry like this. Have a look at this pillar. They built this with an optical illusion. This pillar is actually flat, completely flat. But as you go back, it doesn't look very flat, does it? These people were highly advanced, perfect, divine symmetry with hammer and chisel. The precision is so perfect you can fit a razor blade in between the blocks. How do they carve all this out? By hand and a copper chisel, marble, solid marble, and other gemstones. Do you truly believe that our history is what they tell us? Can you actually see something like this and believe that these people were primitive, that they were cave dwellers, that they had no advanced technology at all? This building actually changes color at different parts of the day. Every single corner of the Taj Mahal is perfectly symmetrical to a fraction of an inch. How is that even possible? We're supposed to believe that a primitive civilization was able to fit marble blocks so perfectly, and also precious gemstones that you can fit a razor blade in between. That they were able to create perfect symmetry and geometry throughout the entire complex. That they were able to align this building perfectly to sunrise and sunset. That somehow the full moon lit up the inside and make it glow. If you haven't quite got the picture by now, our history is far from what we've been told. It's far from what you think. These people were highly, highly advanced. It's no wonder why the Taj Mahal is one of the 7 wonders of the world. And the real truth to everything is found within us all. Peace and love.
Fallen angel technology.
When I saw the dragon in his form, he was like a god, beautiful, a form of purity, unimaginably lovely, but very similar to a basilisk lizard, a Nile monitor, and a Gila monster. He was a blending of kinds. He was looked like the origin point for all reptiles, like all serpents, lizards. Like he had features that were attributable to each of them. And when he was in that chamber, when I saw him, I was consumed with lust. Like I wanted 2 things I coveted. I coveted his fangs and I coveted his armor because he had massive fangs. And I love fangs. They're just so incredible. You can effectively deliver a toxin discreetly where somebody cannot see what is contained therein. Like you don't know what's in a snake's mouth when you see it on the side of the road. Like that feeling you get when you see a snake suddenly appear in front of you, and that trepidation where you're like, I don't know, is it venomous? Is it not? Good question. But it keeps its weapons concealed. That was the form of warfare that I learned. Was the way of the fang. And so when I saw his fangs exposed, they were dripping like continually, like a gaboon viper, just so much venom coming out of these things, like they couldn't turn off. And it was this like gold yellow fluid that was coming out of it. And there was a guy who physically carried around a bowl and was collecting that venom, collecting it and storing it. But when he spoke with such a lyrical psalmist, like beautiful melody as he talked, but I could not hear what he was saying because I couldn't look over his armor. He had plate armor, very similar. The closest I've found in mankind is ceramic heat shield tiles, like hexagonal heat shield tiles that were completely clear when he wanted them to be, but they individually moved all over his body. He could orient them and bend light, like a scarab beetle can bend light and make you think you're seeing different colors of the background, but it's not changing the color, different than a chameleon. But it was like digital televisions, like he could project what was behind him perfectly to where I was moving. It was a perfect camouflage. And I was an assassin. I loved killing people silently and in discretion. That to me was the ultimate 2 tools I needed: suit of invisibility and a weapon to deliver perfect poison. So I just lusted for those 2 things. And those are the things that I wanted. I wanted to pursue that the rest of my life. I'll serve you as long as you will give me your armor and give me that venom.
The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. If you know, you know.
Roller coaster right here is supposed to be ranked number 4 in the world with a scariest rating of 9.2 out of 10. The Takabisha roller coaster is located in Japan. And I'm telling you right now, the climb going up is just enough for me to count me out. Now, when you finally make it up to that top, get ready for that drop, because it's going to be something steep.
Ooh.
Remember, this is a 2-car roller coaster, so you getting everything that you've been waiting for. Loops and swirls and going at the speed of 72 miles an hour. Count me out. Now, it may seem to be a real short roller coaster, but when you get off this motherfucker, you will be changed. Now, me personally, I probably will never ride this motherfucker just because it's in Japan. But even if I was motherfucking close to this motherfucker, you can still count me out. Let me know if you would ride this motherfucker, because I know for a fact I won't.
Count me in.
That the builders did not want any visitors. That's why they built this temple in such a remote place on a hill. And even today, this temple gets less than 10 visitors a week. Why did ancient builders purposely choose this difficult location? And they had to flatten this surface artificially to erect this temple. And it's not easy to make a bedrock flat. They had to cut the uneven rock surface in this area to make it flat. As you can see here, only 1/2 of this temple was made flat. So the ancient builders definitely struggled with this. But why didn't they just choose to build in an easier location?
I think it's a burial site. What do you think?
A jinn ever ask you who passed away? This is what you say.
This is actually so scary. Watch. Look at her feet. He got a little freaked out right there. Look at her feet. Those are hooves. Like from a goat. I don't have any money. She keeps saying, don't be scared. Who passed away? Who passed away? No one. That's what you say. Stay weird, yo.
So jinns have shadow now?
You know that an entire empire has been erased from history. Once upon a time, you could open any map from the 1500s through to the 1800s and find a massive territory labeled Tartaria, or Grand Tartary. This was no little kingdom. We're talking about an empire that stretched from Eastern Europe across Asia. What happened to the once magnificent civilization? Did they disappear naturally, or is there more to the sudden vanishing? Before we dive into the conspiracy, let's start with the most undeniable evidence of all, the maps. Take a look at maps from the 1500s to 1800s. For over 3 centuries, European cartographers showed a vast region called Tartaria, or Grand Tartary. These weren't rough sketches or fantasy maps. One look and you'll see the empire dominating huge swaths of Asia. Spanning from the Caspian Sea to the Pacific Ocean, and from Siberia down into Central Asia, some maps even show independent Tartary, Chinese Tartary, and Russian Tartary. This suggests not just one region, but multiple Tartarian territories. But here's the thing. How does a landmass this enormous just disappear? If you still wonder whether the empire did exist, you should see this. Different European nations' maps all show consistent descriptions of Tartarian territories. French maps, Dutch maps, German maps, you name it. They all agree on where Tartaria was located and how large it was. That's not the kind of consistency you'd expect if map makers were just making stories. But in the 1800s, Tartaria began to leave maps, not gradually, no, but suddenly, like someone decided that this empire should no longer exist on paper. The question is, how did this happen? Think about it. At first, there were hundreds of historical maps documenting this empire over 3 centuries, and then, nothing. Modern atlases contain no trace of it. Geography textbooks never mention it. It's as if an entire chapter of world history was torn out of the books. But if Tartaria was just a misunderstood term for scattered nomadic tribes, why would anyone bother to erase it so thoroughly? And more importantly, what happened to all those grand cities and territories that the maps clearly showed? The answer might be more shocking than you think. At around the time this empire was vanishing from maps, something extraordinary was happening across America and Europe.
It obviously became Russia.
They called them costumes in the history books, as if they were just decoration, a quirk of style. But they weren't. The suits of Tartaria were living technology, each piece woven with purpose. The coat wasn't just for warmth. It was layered with frequency thread, fibers tuned to the human aura, able to amplify healing or shield against hostile vibration. The buttons weren't sewn on for looks. They were miniature discs of conductive metal, aligned to pressure points along the meridians. A moving acupuncture grid disguised as fashion. The waistcoat was an energy stabilizer, its inner lining mapped with sacred geometry, keeping the heart field coherent during long hours in the city grids. The trousers followed the lay of the body, tailored so the seams sat along energetic lines, channeling current from earth to crown with each step. Even the hats were more than hats, they were antennae. Brim shapes, crown heights, and hidden metallic filaments tuned the mind to receive signals from the ether. Colors were codes. A deep indigo coat told the trained eye you worked in the archives. Crimson meant you were a frequency keeper. White and gold, healers. In Tartaria, clothing wasn't something you wore. It was something you entered. A portable temple for the body so the spirit could work in full capacity. And when the old world fell, the suits became costumes. The frequencies were stripped out, the sacred patterns unstitched. But in old paintings and dusty portraits locked away in archives, you can still see it. The hum beneath the fabric, the way the cuffs align with the pulse, the glint of copper in a button. The suits weren't style, they were power. And that's why they had to hide them.
Love it. Now we stuck with polyester, and no wonder we walk around like zombies. Imagine what's underneath. Love it. Look at that. Pharaoh's throne. Tutankhamun. errors. Egypt came, then history came.
So the United States government has been hiding proof of alien technology for decades, and now a sitting member of Congress with access to classified materials is going on the record to expose it all. And that's Florida Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna, and she just confirmed what millions of Americans have already suspected, that we are not alone and our government has the evidence to prove it. So wait until you hear what she saw in those classified files. And this isn't some crazy conspiracy theory from the internet. This is a United States Air Force veteran turned congresswoman with direct oversight authority telling you that interdimensional beings with technology that defies physics have been interacting with humanity for thousands of years. And the Pentagon, guess what? They've been covering it all up. So my name's Tom. I'm with the Daily Beltway. I'm also publisher of the Illinois Review and a White House correspondent for the Next News Network. And guys, we are a growing channel, and every like, comment, and subscription helps us bring you the truth that mainstream media will not report. So hit that subscribe button now, because what I'm about to show you changes everything. And we're going to literally cut right to it. Let's check this out.
So when you say that it operates outside...
It's a long clip. It's like 3 minutes. We'll be in and out due to copyright issues. So, yeah. I wish they had Joe Rogan's face on this, just going, whoa! Like, this is a congresswoman. This isn't just somebody that's doing online research. She's a sitting member of Congress. Continue. So she's talking about the Book of Enoch. Just so you guys know, it's the Book of Enoch, and there's a whole other, I think 6 or 7 other books, but they talk about giants and all sorts of other stuff. And let me know if you guys want me to do a topic on the Book of Enoch and giants. I am kind of a conspiracy nut, so let's get into it.
Information.
I mean, he's keeping it together pretty good. I would have been losing my mind. I mean, we've known this for years, decades, generations probably, that this has been happening, but I want the guy from Ancient Aliens on there going, ah, it was aliens.
And
Fallen angels, demons, evil spirit, Lucifer, they have all been here for thousands of years, and they have manipulated the human race for thousands of years. You know, their purpose is to take as many souls with them as possible on Judgment Day.
What Satan wants you to do is make you so afraid of making the wrong choice that you don't make a choice at all, and your life just passes you by. How many of us here overthink? Many of us will think and we'll just think and think and think and think and think. Would you guys agree? I'm going to teach you guys how to overcome that right now. Overthinking is a deception from Satan in that it makes you try to control something. You, creation, who has no control of anything. It gives you this illusion that you're creating and controlling something. But really, it's fear in disguise and fear of failure. Sheesh, that's a bar. Isaiah 41 verse 10 literally tells us, I am with you. Do not be afraid. Fear not. I am with you. Satan goes, no, he's not with you. You need to make a decision. You need to be careful, and you literally get stuck. And even in the Bible, when Peter is focused on Jesus, when he's walking on water in Matthew, he's not overthinking. He just goes, Jesus, 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 Jesus. He walks on water. But as soon as the storm comes, he starts to, oh my gosh, the storm, what's going on? He starts to overthink. And what happens to him? He starts to sink. So when did he sink? When Peter focused his eyes off of Jesus, took his eyes off of Jesus and focused on the storm, aka the situation. He didn't fix his eyes on Jesus. Many of us are struggling with that right now. Why? Because we overthink. And overthinking at the core is a very strong tool by Satan. Why? Because overthinking, if you really think about it, is creating problems from nothing. It is the art of creating problems that don't exist. They're not there. If you think about it, they're not there. It can be something like, oh, I feel a little bit sick. Do I have COVID? Oh my gosh, I have asthma. If I get COVID and have asthma, I'm going to die. And if I die, none of that is actually happening. How then do we move on from this? Step 1, make an action plan in 30 to 60 seconds. Think a little bit and then do it. Why? Because God says, I will go before you. In Deuteronomy, he says, I go ahead of you. So you have to believe, okay, God, it's not if I do this or if I do that. It's whether I do this or whether I do that. Make a decision. You are with me to the ends of the earth, and you walked in front of me, meaning you already prepared the way. I can walk in peace, confidence, and boldness. The second step I want you to do is also declare to him out loud, Father God, although I feel anxious, I'm just anxious right now. I don't have anxiety. I'm a new creature. You have already taken care of everything. I believe that. Amen. And move forward. People try to scale. They look at overthinking in life as like scaling a staircase. But how can you scale a staircase, go up a staircase, if you don't take the first step? Sheesh, that's a bar. Understand? You got to take the first step. And when you take that leap of faith, which is usually one step, you will see God work. I promise you. And if you don't, rip up the Bible. Anxiety is nothing more than the enemy trying to stop you and block you from your blessings.
Glory to God. Jesus Christ is Lord.